Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. Looking like we're gonna go 2-3 in the MLB tonight, so slightly red. The last few days have been great though. We were like plus 8.8 units over a 5-day stretch. Things have been going well, so I'm not gonna stress about a 2-3 day. It's MLB Friday, 15 games, Friday and Tuesday. But Friday and Tuesday, two best MLB days betting wise, in my opinion. We got 15 games to go through, so let's do it.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, Reds at Cubs. Hunter Green pitching against Justin Steele. Reds open up as minus 165 favorites. Already dropped down to minus 155. Total opens up at 8. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. After 5 innings, we're looking at 4-3 Cubs. Final score 6-6, so no real lean there except for the over. As far as breaking down this matchup, well, we're talking about Justin Steele at home at Wrigley Field here. His numbers at home are basically outrageous. He's 4-0 with a 1.48 ERA at home this year. Been absolutely unstoppable in Wrigley Field. I know his one home start against the Cardinals was a little shaky, but that was a couple weeks ago where St. Louis was hitting everybody. They were red hot. I mean, they're still red hot, that lineup. And either way, the Cubs still got the win that day. I know the Reds lineup has shown signs of improvement against left-handed pitching. We just bet Cincinnati against Steven Matz. Was it yes? No, that was Wednesday. We just bet Cincinnati against the lefty, Steven Matz. Got the win. It was a plus 140 cash. That was nice. But Justin Steele in Wrigley Field is a lot different than betting against Steven Matz. Add on the fact that despite this being a division rivalry, the Reds lineup combined have just 22 career bats against Steele. So this is a division rivalry. Normally, these guys know each other. Only 22 career bats between the entire Reds lineup combined. So these hitters haven't really seen much of Justin Steele before. I really think Justin Steele deals here. On the other side, we got Hunter Green throwing for Cincinnati. I like Hunter Green, but it's really, really tough to make a case for this guy right now. I've bet on him a number of times. He's had 4 starts in May. He's been struggling. In his 4 starts in May, he's got a 1.59 whip and a 6.95 ERA. Really having a tough time. He pitched against the Cubs 3 times last year. He did pitch well in one of those, but the other 2 he got hit up pretty bad, including his only start at Wrigley Field. Plus, the Cubs bats are showing signs of life. That Cubs hitting slump is definitely over. In the last 14 days, they're 14th against right-handed pitching. In the last 7 days, they're 8th. So the Cubs starting to hit right-handed pitching again like they were early in the season. As far as the bullpen goes, the Cubs bullpen has been absolutely awful, so I'm going to stay off the full game, but I'm down to play the Cubs in the first 5. So give me Chicago first 5 minus a half run. You can get it at minus 110, minus 115. Not one of my favorite plays of the day, but I'm going to bet this one. I think there's value here. So Cubs first 5 run line, next game. Dodgers at Rays. Noah Syndergaard pitching against Cooper Criswell. We got Syndergaard on the road. I could probably just cut this one off and fade him right now. Tampa Bay opens up as very slight favorites, minus 115. Total opens up at 9. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet and check this one out. According to the model, we're looking at 8-5 Dodgers after 5 innings, 12-7 final score in favor of the Dodgers. Huge lean on the over and huge lean on the Dodgers as well. As far as the matchup goes, like I said, it's Noah Syndergaard on the road here. This is basically an auto fade at this point. He's got a 3.62 ERA at home this year, so a respectable ERA at home, but on the road, 10.29. His ERA on the road is 3 times as high as his ERA at home. Not to mention, it's in Tampa. They don't have the best record in baseball by accident. The Rays are first in WRC plus against right-handed pitching this season, 4th in the last 14 days, so they haven't cooled off. This has been a brutal lineup to pitch against if you're a righty this entire season. Here's where it gets difficult to get to Tampa. So they got Jalen Beeks starting, which means it's a bullpen day for the Rays. And the Rays bullpen has actually been uncharacteristically struggling. In the last 14 days, they're actually 30th in Major League Baseball. They're dead last. Now, a part of that might be because the Rays use their bullpen to pitch all 9 innings in some games, certainly more than other teams do. It could also be the extra stress that's put on this bullpen and this rotation. I mean, Tampa, the injuries they've had at starting pitcher is just crazy. And the bullpen, the injuries they've had from the pitching staff is nuts. But either way, makes it really tough to fade the Dodgers when they might score 6 or 7 runs. So what's a safe alternative? I'm rolling with the over here. I think Syndergaard gets hit up, and I think the Dodgers are going to score runs against this struggling Rays bullpen over the course of 9 innings. So totals at 9. I'll take the over. Next game. White Sox at Tigers. Lance Lynn pitching against Joey Wentz. White Sox open as -150 favorites. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 4-1 White Sox. Final score 4-1 White Sox. That just shows you how good these two bullpens have been. So check this out. Since Lance Lynn joined the White Sox 2.5 years ago, he started 5 games against the Detroit Tigers. He's been great in all 5 starts. Chicago is a perfect 5-0 in those games, and Lynn has a 2.63 ERA and a 1.28 WHIP. So the Tigers have had basically 0 success hitting Lance Lynn as a member of the Chicago White Sox. Now, I know Lance Lynn has been shaky this year, and I know his last few road starts haven't been good, but this really looks like a spot where he could put together a good game. Keep in mind, he's coming off back-to-back good starts. Lance Lynn's been good in 2 straight games. On the other side, we have Joey Wentz, who's, I mean, let's call it what it is. Dude's been absolutely terrible. He's failed to complete 3 innings in his last 2 starts. The wheels seem to be coming off the wagon for this young man. Add on the fact that the White Sox bats are finally starting to hit lefties. They're 17th in the last 14 days, and I know that doesn't sound great, but compared to where they were a month ago, that's miles better. It's an improvement. Remember, this is a White Sox lineup that finished 5th in Major League Baseball against left-handed pitching last year. So we knew it was only a matter of time before the White Sox started hitting lefties. I know the White Sox just bit us in the ass last night. That being said, I like the spot for him, and I think I'm going back to him in the first 5 on the run line. You can get it around plus 100, even money. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll let you know for sure on the live show at 4 p.m. though, but I'm definitely not betting Detroit. I'm going to say White Sox are passed for now, but I probably will end up betting the White Sox next game. Texas at Baltimore. John Gray pitching against Grayson Rodriguez. Baltimore opens up as pretty heavy favorites here, -145. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we're looking at 6-3 Rangers after 5 innings. Final score 8-6 Rangers, so another lean towards the over and a lean towards Texas as well. Grayson Rodriguez is another pitcher who's just completely lost it recently. He's got 4 starts in May, and they're all pretty terrible. He's got an ERA of 9.17 in May with a WHIP over 2. He's been getting absolutely rocked, Madison Bumgarner type numbers, and I don't expect that to change against a Rangers lineup that's basically been top 10 in every offensive category all season. Against right-handed pitching, they're 8th in the last 14 days, 4th in the last 7 days. They have not cooled off. They've been hitting righties all season. They've been hitting lefties all season. This Rangers lineup has been top 10 this whole year. Now, on the other side, you got John Gray pitching for Texas, and he's been dealing recently. His last 3 starts were absolutely excellent. In his last 3 starts, he's 3-0, 20 innings pitched with an 0.90 ERA. He's been deadly, but I gotta say, I do question his opponents. He pitched against Seattle, Oakland, and Colorado, and the Rockies. The game against the Rockies was at home in Texas. That lineup can hit righties, but they're a lot more dangerous at Coors Field than they are on the road. This is the Baltimore Orioles, one of the hottest lineups in baseball. Baltimore's 2nd in WRC plus against right-handed pitching in the last 7 days, 6th in the last 14 days. On the road in Baltimore, John Gray's going to have his hands full here. Overall, though, we got to keep in mind that the Orioles are coming off 6 straight road games, 3 at Toronto, 3 at Yankee Stadium. That 6-game stretch was arguably the most important stretch of games for the Orioles of the season so far. They get 0 days off, fly home to immediately start a series against Texas that's a lot less meaningful for them. Texas, on the other hand, they just had a day off. Before that, they played 9 straight games against NL teams. I mean, I don't want to say meaningless, but certainly a lot less meaningless than this Baltimore series. The Rangers have this series against Baltimore circled. The Orioles definitely do not have this series against the Rangers circled on their calendars. You know what they had circled? The Yankees and Blue Jays series. I know the Texas bullpen has been shaky. I'm not saying I'm not scared of it. But the truth is, I love this spot for the Rangers, and I hate it for the Orioles. So give me the Rangers money line at plus money next game. Padres at Yankees. Joe Musgrove pitching against Randy Vasquez. Who the hell is that? Padres open up as -140 favorites. Total opens up at 9. Obviously, we can't take a look at the spreadsheet because I have no data for this pitcher. Like I said, I don't know who he is. Obviously, you got the Yankees coming off a huge series with Baltimore. I don't want to say that this is a flat spot for the Yankees because against the Padres, this is a pretty high-profile series. In fact, aside from the Rays-Dodgers series, this is probably going to have the highest viewership in all of baseball, Yankees versus Padres. So even though it's interleague play and even though they're coming off a big series, I don't think the Yankees are going to come out flat here. Like I said, I have no idea who Randy Vasquez is. He's making his first career start here. 20-year-old right-handed pitcher from Dominican Republic. I'm guessing he's a good prospect in the Yankee system. Don't know. Don't really care. I'm skipping this one. Don't know enough about the pitcher. I'd lean Yankees because the Padres are just embarrassing. They almost blew their lead against the Nationals earlier tonight. And I don't know. Maybe I'll have a bet for this one after I see some live movement. But as of right now, I'm skipping it. Next game. Cardinals on the road in Cleveland. Matthew Liberatore pitching against Shane Bieber. Cardinals open up as very slight favorites, -120, and the total opens up at 9. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 5-1 St. Louis. Full game 7-1 St. Louis, so huge lean on the Cards there. I'm not really sure what to make of Liberatore, to be honest. I took the Brewers against him in his first start this season, and he completely blanked them. 5 inning pitches, 0 earned runs. He blanked the Brewers, and I know what you're thinking. Yo, Kyle, but that was against the Brewers. The Brewers are terrible against left-handed pitching. Well, yo, so are the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland's 29th on the season versus left-handed pitching, 22nd in the last 14 days. This Cleveland Guardians lineup has been towards the bottom of baseball against lefties this entire season. So who's to say Liberatore doesn't put up another great start here? As far as the Cards bats go, they've been absolutely red hot. I know the last couple of games haven't looked great, but they rested Goldschmidt and Arenado yesterday. In the last 14 days, St. Louis is first in baseball against right-handed pitching. That's bad news for Shane Bieber, who does have some decent looking numbers on the season, but this man may be due for some negative regression here. His ERA is 3.08, but his expected ERA is 4.92, indicating that he's had some good luck so far this season. His strikeout to walk rate is the lowest it's been in his entire career this year. All numbers just point to this guy is eventually going to start giving up some runs. I know Cleveland just had the day off, but the St. Louis bullpen is well rested here. I got to go with the Cards and those red hot bats. Again, that plus money. Give me St. Louis money line at plus 105 next game. Phillies at Braves. You got Taijuan Walker pitching against Jared Schuster. Atlanta opens up as -140 favorites and the total opens up at 10. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. After 5 innings, we're looking at 3-0 Braves. Final score 3-1 Braves. To be honest, I don't trust either of these pitchers. I guess I like Atlanta, but not at a -150 price. I might have a bet for this one on the live show, but I'm skipping it for now. Next game. Giants at Brewers. You got Alex Wood pitching against Freddie Peralta. Milwaukee opens up as very slight favorites, -115. Total opens up at 8. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we're looking at 4-2 Brewers after 5 innings. Final score 5-2 Brewers. I don't have a bet for this one at this time. I'm leaning Giants for sure. But last night's game, they just didn't show me much of anything. I thought they were going to hit up Julio Teheran. I always say his name wrong. And they didn't. It's in the 8th inning as I'm recording this. It's 1-0, I think. So doesn't instill a ton of confidence. Might end up taking an under in this one. I'll give a bet out for this one on the live show. I don't have anything right now. Next game. Blue Jays at Twins. Kevin Gausman pitching against Louis Varland. Toronto opens up as pretty heavy favorites here, -175. Total opens up at 7.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 4-3 Toronto. Final score 6-5 Toronto. So straight up, Kevin Gausman has not had success against the Twins. In his 9 career starts against Minnesota, he's 0-4 with a 6.36 ERA. Toronto has also lost the last 4 games where Gausman starts. So they're not even giving this guy run support. Add on the fact that not only is Toronto coming off 11 straight division games, but they went just 2-9 in those 11 games. This team is just emotionally defeated right now. On the mound for the Twins, we got Louis Varland, and let's give this dude some credit. His last 3 starts were all solid. This guy's pitching pretty well. And if you look at the bats, I know at first glance you might think Toronto has a huge advantage offensively, but in the last 14 days, yeah, Toronto's 3rd in OPS versus right-handed pitching. Want to know where Minnesota is? 2nd. They're just as hot. I mean, they're hotter than Toronto. The price with the Twins at home is just way too juicy to pass up. I'm taking the Minnesota money line. You can get around +1 or +115, I think it is. Let me look where it's at right now. Where is this game? Twins +125. Hell yeah. Give me the Twins money line +125 next game. Nats on the road in KC. Patrick Corbin pitching against Jordan Lyles. Should we just stop it here and bet the over? Kansas City opens up as slight favorites -120. Total opens up at 9.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. After first 5, we're looking at 5-0 Nats. Final score 7-0 Nats. So huge lean on Washington here, according to the model. Like I said, obviously you see those two starting pitchers and you immediately think over, but hold up a second, because Patrick Corbin is actually pitching well right now. In the month of May, Corbin's made 4 starts. He's averaging over 6 innings per start, allowed 2 or less earned runs in all 4 starts. He's got a 2.88 ERA in May. Now, 3 of those 4 starts were at home, where he's always been more reliable. But seriously, Patrick Corbin is pitching well right now. Now, Jordan Lyles, he's quite the opposite. I mean, this is another guy that's putting up Madison Bumgarner type numbers. He's made 10 starts this season. Kansas City is 0-10 in those games. They've yet to win a single Jordan Lyles start this whole season. Add on the fact that the Nats have been playing pretty decent. I mean, they've been playing 500 baseball for a month now. Washington is 12-12 in their last 24 games. How do we not take them at plus money against Jordan Lyles here? So again, I'm taking another underdog. Give me Washington money line at plus 105 next game. Mets at Rockies. Max Scherzer pitching against Connor Seabold. Mets open up as huge favorites here, minus 235. Total opens up at 11. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 4-2 Mets. Final score 6-4 Mets. I'm passing on this one. I like the Mets, but this price is just insane. Right now, to take Mets minus 1.5, you're still laying minus 150 juice. No chance. Next game. Marlins at Angels. Jesus Luzardo pitching against Reed Detmers. A lefty-lefty matchup here. Angels open up as minus 145 favorites. Total opens up at 8. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we're looking at 5-4 Angels after 5 innings. Final score 7-6 Marlins. Quick question. Why should we be afraid to fade Luzardo on the road right now? Of his 4 road starts this year, 3 of them were bad. And those 3 games were against the Giants, the Guardians, and the Phillies. 3 of the worst lineups in baseball against left-handed pitching. And Luzardo was awful in those starts. The Angels have hit lefties well all year. In fact, in the last 14 days, they're 3rd in OPS against left-handed pitching. I'm completely down to back the Angels lineup against Luzardo in this game. Here's where it gets complicated. Not only the Marlins been sneaky good against left-handed pitching themselves, they're 10th in the last 14 days, so that scares me with Reed Detmers pitching, but also the Angels are sitting at a minus 140 price. I mean, that's a tough sell for me. I'm leaning Angels, but I don't love it right now. If I was to make the ticket right now, this wouldn't be on it. I want to see what the line does in the morning, so I'll give you a final answer on this one on the live show tomorrow at 4 p.m. As of right now, I'll say Angels or pass. Next game. Houston at Oakland. Hunter Brown pitching against James Kapp. Houston opens up as huge favorites here, minus 280. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we're looking at 3-0 Astros after 5 innings. Final score 5-0 Astros. I know everyone's looking at this game and they're expecting a Houston Astros blowout, but let's hold up a second. Astros just got shut out in back-to-back games by nobodies. Also, Houston is just 1-4 in their last 5 games in Oakland, including a 3-game sweep. I know it's an elite team against a trash team, but this is a division rivalry, man, and the A's at home have gotten Houston recently. And James Caprillion, don't sleep on my guy James Kapp. Dude's got insane career numbers against Houston. The Astros bats combined are just 8 for 40 off Kapp lifetime with just 2 extra base hits in 40 at-bats. I'm on Oakland here. I don't know if I'm going to go nuts and take the money line. I may just lay some big money on Oakland plus 2.5 at minus 130. At this price, it's impossible for me to pass up Oakland. I don't know exactly how I'm going to bet them yet. I'll let you know on the live show at 4 p.m. Next game. Red Sox at D-backs. Chris Sale pitching against Brandon Pfaadt. Boston opens up as minus 165 favorites, and the total opens up at 9.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 3-2 Boston. Final score 4-4 Boston, so really no lean there. So let's give Chris Sale some credit here. Dude's been dealing. I mean, his last 4 starts, he's thrown 27 1/3 innings. He's almost averaging 7 innings per start, with allowing just a 2.31 WOBA and just a 2.30 ERA. Sale has been pretty dominant recently, but I gotta ask, against who? He pitches against the Padres, the Cardinals, the Phillies, the Guardians. 3 of those teams are absolutely awful against left-handed pitching. Really, the St. Louis start is the only one that's eye-opening, and that was at home. This is on the road against a D-backs team that can definitely hit lefties. Listen to this. The last 7 left-handed starters to face Arizona, 6.81 ERA and a 1.5 whip. This team can definitely hit lefties. Left-handed starters have not fared well against the D-backs recently. In fact, Arizona could pretty much hit any type of pitching recently. Arizona's 9-3 in their last 12 games. If it wasn't for that Phillies crazy comeback the other night, they'd be on a 5-game win streak right now. I know the D-backs have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound, and I know he's got some awful looking numbers, but the Red Sox bats have completely disappeared. Boston's last 4 games, they've lost all 4. They're 0-4 in the last 4 games, and they scored a combined 4 runs in them. Yes, the Red Sox are averaging 1 run a game in their last 4. Overall, I think Chris Sale comes back down to earth here, and I think Brandon Pfaadt's able to pitch a pretty decent game. Add on the fact that the D-backs bullpen is 10th in the last 14 days. Red Sox bullpen 27th. You mean to tell me we have a serious bullpen advantage as well? At plus 130, I love the D-backs. Another dog I'm taking. Give me Arizona money line at the big plus price. I also like the under, but I don't want to lock that in yet. I want to see what the line does first, so I might also be adding the under on the live show at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Next game, Pittsburgh at Seattle. This is actually the last game. We got Mitch Keller versus George Kirby. Seattle opens up as minus 150 favorites. Total opens up at 6.5. 6.5 gives you an idea of what kind of game the odds makers are expecting. And the model's right on point. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, after 5 innings, we're looking at 0-0. Final score 2-0 Mariners. So that's also pointing heavily towards the under. I don't have a bet for this one yet. Prop Beaver told me Mitch Keller over strikeouts no matter what, but that line isn't even up yet. So just we'll get to this one on the live show. I don't have anything right now, so I'm skipping it. If anything changes with any of these bets, I will let you know on Twitter, so give me a follow there if you're interested. Also, if you want the final tickets, which has exactly what we're betting and how much we're betting on each, parlays of the day, top bets, that kind of stuff, head over to KyleKirms.com if you're interested in that. All right, MLB Friday night. I'm betting the MLB heavy. There's no NBA, so I'm having a heavy baseball night. Let's have ourselves a good one. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on Twitter.